Today we're going to be going over the top 10 best PvP weapons that are an absolute must-have from the Witch Queen expansion. The Witch Queen has been one of the best content drops in terms of weapons. All in all, we received 51 new weapons, and while some of them are hot garbage, others are meta-defining and are absolutely ridiculous within the Crucible. I've managed to test all of these weapons, and I've managed to compile a list of the 10 most powerful weapons that will help you to win your PvP duels. Some of these rankings may surprise you a little bit, so stick around. Let's get underway. In number 10, we have the Raid SMG Submission. Now this is a kinetic 900 RPM submachine gun which you can obtain and craft from the Valve the Disciple raid. The SMG sights are clean and easy to use, and the gun just feels really sticky to me. It has one of the higher aim assist values for this archetype of SMGs. It just felt so good when I first got my hands on this gun. The raid weapons have a unique origin trait known as Soul Drinker, which can help you to regenerate health based on the number of previous hits before reloading. Now for most weapons this isn't noticeable in PvP, but for this raid SMG I often had noticeable bumps in health which helped me to continue my killing streak in 6v6 game modes. One of my favourite perk combinations here was Perpetual Motion and Harmony. Perpetual Motion is very easy to activate and gives this gun a handling and stability boost by just moving. And then Harmony activates when you get a kill with another weapon. Often I got a kill with my sniper, I then switched to my SMG, which had a 20% damage boost from Harmony, and then I proceeded to shred the opponent that was coming at me. Another perk combination to look out for here is Encore Killing Wind. When you get a kill, your SMG's range will go through the roof as a result, and Encore can stack up to 3 times, so you can achieve a crazy range buff and go on some crazy streaks. The major issue this gun has is that it competes with a certain other SMG in the kinetic slot. It's very difficult to dethrone the Multimac as the king of 900 RPM SMGs due to its outlandish zoom value. This SMG has a zoom value of 15, while the Multimac has 17 zoom with the Model 8 red scope, which gives the Multimac a much greater effective range in this gun. However, Bungie has stated they are looking to rein in the zoom value for SMGs like Multimac and Shira's Wrath, and when they do, definitely keep an eye out for this SMG, especially with the upcoming Adept version which you can apply Adept range to. In number 9, we have the Fortissimo. Now, since Chaperone got an effective range nerf, I feel that legendary slugs are much more in contention in the PvP meta and open up more options for exotic weapons in other slots. I used to like them a lot anyways, as you can add Icarus grip to them and so they become much more reliable in the air. Fortissimo is a kinetic slug shotgun which on the surface doesn't feel like it's too different from other slugs. But once I got my hands on an Adagio roll, that changed my perspective on the gun completely. Adagio, once you get a kill, gives the shotgun a 30% boost to damage while reducing the rate of fire by 20%. What this means is that it will one-hit KO Guardians to the body. Honestly, that one roll makes it worthwhile to grind Nightfall strikes for the gun. Contrary to popular belief, along with Adagio, you don't really want to stack all range here. Slug shotguns hit their range cap of around 11 meters very quickly, and in terms of perks, only Opening Shot, which this thing can roll with, and Chaperone's Roadborne perk can extend that. As a result, my recommendation here is to go for a high handling roll with Surplus, Adagio, and then Assault Mag to try and negate the rate of fire nerf that Adagio gives. I had an absolute blast using this roll, and I'm sure you guys will find it incredible as well. It will make you fall in love with slug shotguns again. In number 8, we have another raid weapon, the Deliverance. Now this thing is unique in that it is the first kinetic slot, well stasis powered, fusion rifle which people have been asking for since the beginning of Destiny 2. Honestly, I've been wanting to use my palindrome with a fusion rifle for a long time and this thing lets me do so. This is a precision frame archetype fusion rifle, think something like the main ingredient, and it's a great weapon on its own. It's quite easy to achieve a 20 meter kill range with this thing, and now that both the main ingredient rolls have been nerfed due to nerfs to firmly planted and tap the trigger, I feel that this fusion rifle can give it a little bit more competition. My personal preference here is for Enhanced Perpetual Motion and Enhanced Tap the Trigger. Both will give a stability boost, and the latter still gives a small but noticeable bump to accuracy. Successful Warm-Up is another very good perk in that last column, but I much prefer it on rapid fire frames, and losing Tap the Trigger here made this gun feel much less reliable. Fusion rifles are a product of their perks in my eyes, and after the nerfs, Tap the Trigger just isn't as game-changing a perk anymore, hence why this fusion rifle ranks a little lower. I would, however, keep an eye out for the Adept version of this thing. With the Arrowhead Break Barrel, this thing achieves a perfectly vertical 100 recoil direction, meaning you don't need to necessarily run counterbalance with it and can use something like Adept Range or Adept Stability which may be a game changer in the Adept version. Moving on to number 7, we have the sniper Silicon NEUROMA. Now on paper, the Silicon NEUROMA has it all. It's a low zoom, aggressive frame sniper with access to great perks. It can achieve the fabled snapshot opening shot roll which so few snipers can get. It has a zoom value of 43, which lies in between some of my favourite snipers. Beloved has the sweet spot of 40, Adored or Eye of Soul has 45 zoom. Zoom is a personal preference thing, but for me, 43 zoom is a very nice sweet spot, especially on an aggressive frame sniper. Honestly, hitting hard with a lowish zoom sniper is a game changer, especially in the meta of high damage resist, think renewal grasps, and overshields with Void 3.0. Now, some of you are going to ask why this isn't ranked much higher given it has so many things going for it. I wanted to love this sniper, trust me, I desperately did guys, but in the end, I just couldn't. It has a much lower aim assist value of 47, which is less than the Eye of Souls or Adored's value of 68, so it just didn't feel as sticky to me on people's heads. It also has a very low handling stat and it just feels very sluggish and heavy to use. The one thing I will say is that if you do get the absolute god roll, opening shot with snapshot with max handling, then that does negate a lot of the downsides I've talked about here. Opening shot makes up for that 20 aim assist deficit, and things like a handling masterwork, fluted barrel are going to be a must here to make up for the poor handling. Again, the Adept version of this gun could be a game changer. I think Adept handling or even something like Adept targeting could be huge here and help to make up some of the deficits. But until you hit the jackpot and achieve absolute perfection with this sniper in terms of its role, I just don't think it's going to feel as good as some of your other favourites. In number 6, we have the funnel web. Now, the funnel web is probably the most popular weapon in PvE from this expansion, but little do folks know that this SMG is also amazing in PvP as well. It is a 900 RPM energy, lightweight frame SMG. Honestly, a lightweight frame SMG feels so speedy for a running gun playstyle. It has access to great perks both for PvE and PvP. We all know and love the Subsistence Frenzy role for PvE, but for PvP I recommend Rangefinder with Killing Wind. With the right perks, this thing can beam people from 22 meters away, which is very respectable and only about 3 meters less than the Gold Roll Multimac. Like I said, once those zoom changes kick in, SMGs like this one will truly start to compete and even outcompete some of the other SMGs that we prefer. It has the origin trait Vice Stinger, which pairs so well with this SMG. It will sometimes reload the magazine, so you can continue going on a kill streak without reloading. Vice Stinger also increases movement speed when ADSing, which paired with its intrinsic lightweight frame makes the gun feel as light as a feather. I don't think I've enjoyed using an SMG more for pure aping purposes than this one since the Recluse. And this gun shares the exact same model as the Recluse, so go figure. The craze for this weapon is justified, it just feels so damn smooth to use in both PvP and PvE. In number 5, we have the SNORRI FR5. The SNORRI FR5 is a precision frame fusion rifle with better base stats than even the main ingredient. It has more range, more stability, more aim assist, and better handling than the main ingredient at base. Now, this is another precision frame fusion rifle, but in my eyes, it has the better of the two perks than the Deliverance. Firmly planted even after the nerf provides a monumental amount of benefits for a fusion rifle. 15 handling, 10 stability, it improves the accuracy cone, it reduces horizontal recoil. When you are going for long distance kills, horizontal recoil is what makes your bolts miss the opponent, and firmly planted helps to negate that. Along with firmly planted, it can roll with successful warm up, which on a kill reduces the charge time by 37.5%, which on successive kills lets it have the power of a precision frame fusion rifle with the charge time of a rapid frame. It's bonkers if you get to try that rollout. What makes this fusion rifle even better is that its origin perk, Omolon Fluid Dynamics, actually synergizes well with the weapon. The weapon receives a whopping 20 stability along with reload speed for the top half of the magazine. When you're running around in 6v6 game modes with more than 3 in the mag, it's palpable the difference. It's almost like having under pressure, but instead for the top half of the mag, which is a great perk in itself along with firmly planted. What this essentially resulted in was a tight fusion rifle bolt pattern, which allowed for more reliable kills across longer ranges. Honestly, 20 meter kills weren't a struggle with this thing. In number 4, we have the Cantata 57. Now, this 140 RPM hand cannon has a bit of a cult following, and it's easy to see why. It shares its hand cannon model with the Annual Skate, which was one of the nicest feeling hand cannons with a clean sight and a minimalistic gun model. Cantata improves on the Annual Skate. The big downside for the Annual Skate was a lack of S tier perks. Kantata does not lack in that department at all. This thing can roll with some disgusting perk combinations for a hand cannon. The 4 best perks on a hand cannon in my eyes are Eye of the Storm, Opening Shot, Explosive Payload, and Rangefinder. This thing can roll with 3 of those 4 perks, which is unheard of. Opening Shot and Eye of the Storm in separate columns means that if you get lucky enough to get both, you have more accuracy and range on the first shot, and then subsequently less bloom, thanks to Opening Shot. And then for your latter shot, deep into a duel, you get more accuracy from Eye of the Storm. Honestly, this roll feels so crisp, it's unbelievably good for 1v1 duels. For the range boys, this thing can also roll with Rangefinder Eye of the Storm so that you can compete with adept palindromes out there. And have an S tier perk in the final column which boosts accuracy. This gun is a world drop, so it is difficult to farm it beyond just playing the game. If you haven't already tried out this weapon instead of your palindrome, instead of your Ace Luna or Fatebringer, then you need to, because those perk combinations are absolutely S tier and the gun model makes it a dream to use. Now let's move on to the podium. In number 3, we have The Father's Sins. Now call me crazy for putting a rapid frame sniper in the top 3, but again the perk combinations for this thing are pretty impressive. This is a craftable rapid frame sniper rifle which is obtainable from Wellspring, and there's a couple of rolls to look out for. It's 35 zoom as well, which means it has the same zoom as Revoker and Twilight Oath, 2 snipers that I and many others in the sniping community absolutely love the feel of. Now the craftable perks here are unique and never before seen in terms of this combination. Enhance Under Pressure, which activates on spawning with 2 bullets, give this sniper so much aim assist, and it gets better as you go deeper into the magazine. The shots I was able to hit with this sniper on game 1 with it, absolutely unreal. Now originally I used this with Snapshot, and for 3v3 game modes I reckon Snapshot is probably a necessity. But I ended up trying out Enhanced Opening Shot in that final column, and Jesus Christ, the amount of aim assist with Enhanced Opening Shot, Enhanced Under Pressure, made this thing have a hitbox the size of Africa. This sniper is a low zoom, high handling, high aim assist monster. It's a niche sniper as its rapid fire frame, but I've not picked up a sniper in a long time which has felt as crispy and buttery smooth as this baby. You want to try out an under pressure opening shot roll for this gun ASAP. Moving on to number 2, we have The Likely Suspect. If you haven't already realized from this list, we are in a fusion rifle meta, guys, and this gun truly epitomizes that. The Likely Suspect is a rapid fire frame fusion rifle with a base charge time of just 460 milliseconds. It is obtainable from the Throne world and is easily craftable after just 1 deep sight resonance pattern. Rapid fire frame fusion rifles were previously unforgiving, and as a result, in my eyes, they are quite underused, but Bungie buffed them so that they fire 9 bolts now, and now you only need to hit 7 bolts out of those 9 for a kill. This thing shares the same god roll as the SNORRI FR5, but successful warm up on a rapid fire frame is just a different beast. As it's craftable, it becomes much easier to obtain the god roll for this as well. Enhance Firmly Planted in the first column gives it all the benefits of Firmly Planted I stated before, but to a greater magnitude. Yes, Enhance Firmly Planted post nerf feels like pre-nerf normal Firmly Planted. And this rapid fire frame fusion can also roll with successful warm up in the final column. If you haven't killed a Guardian with the 290 millisecond charge time, it feels like cheating. Be sure to craft it with Arrowhead Break and Particle Repeater. You now need more stability and better recoil to compensate for the Firmly Planted nerf. If Bungie did not nerf Firmly Planted, I wouldn't have a choice but to put this fusion as the best weapon released from Witch Queen. It was borderline illegal in its pre-nerf state. Now though, it settles in a solid second place. Finally, in number 1, there is only one weapon in my mind that deserves this number 1 slot, and that's the Peace of Mind. The Peace of Mind is perhaps the only non-hand cannon primary that has displaced my Fatebringer, my Ace of Spades, my Palindrome in a long time, even for 3v3 scenarios such as Trials of Osiris. Now, the Peace of Mind is a rapid fire 540 RPM pulse rifle similar to the Time Worn Spire or the Darkest Before. What makes the Peace of Mind so great is that its scope inherently has 2 more zoom than those guns, so at baseline it has 4 meters more effective range. This bucks the trend of rapid fire pulse rifles not being able to duel at longer ranges. This thing is great for running gun playstyles like other 540 RPM pulses, but can also hold down longer lanes. It's kind of an outlier in that regard. 540 RPM archetype of pulse rifles absolutely shreds and has an optimal TTK of just 0.73 seconds with 8 crit shots, which is actually a whole lot faster than 140 RPM hand cannon. Its 0.8 seconds TTK of 7 crits 2 bodies is also faster than 140 RPM hand cannon. Get this, not only is this weapon lethal at its best when you're hitting your 3 bursts, it's also extremely forgiving and has a respectable 1 second TTK with 5 crits and 5 bodies. What this means is that with 4 bursts, I can afford to miss 2 bullets, and then half of the bullets I hit, I only need to crit half of the shots for a respectable 1 second TTK, which is the equivalent of a 3-tap from a 120 RPM hand cannon. Now, along with this, the Peace of Mind has access to a wide variety of S-tier perks which can be crafted into enhanced versions. High cal rounds for me is an absolute must here on pulse rifles so that you can flinch the hell out of your opponents in 1v1 duels. The rapid fire nature of this pulse combined with high cal makes me feel so comfortable sliding out against snipers with this pulse. I barely get dome through flinch with this pulse rifle, which seems to be happening a lot more with other archetypes of pulse rifles, like the Messenger or Insidious. In terms of perks, Overflow feels incredible in 6v6 game modes, whereby you double your magazine size and then you can mow down hordes of opponents. Harmony is also a top tier perk which gives this weapon a 20% boost when you get a kill with another weapon. It paired insanely well with other meta options this season, such as the Likely Suspect or Lord of Wolves. Actual motion gives the gun stability and handling for just moving. Elemental Capacitor gives this gun a whopping 18 stability for using a Void subclass, which most people are using this season. The high stability roll from Perpetual Motion and Elemental Capacitor makes this gun an absolute laser, and truly one of the best guns in the entire game for dueling. I never felt like I missed out on a damage perk when using this roll, it was that consistent. The Peace of Mind for me has it all. When you're at your best, it has one of the best TTKs across all weapons in Destiny. When you're at your worst, it's extremely forgiving. Pair that with incredible craftable perks and you have a deadly and reliable weapon that is usable across all skill classes for Destiny. Now, you'll want to watch how I pair the top 2 weapons from this list into a loadout that absolutely slays, so you need to click on the next video here. If you made it this far, then subscribe. What the hell are you waiting for? I'm Mr. On It, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace out.